Who are the best teams and link partners for the brand new LR Gohan, Goten, and Trunks? How's it, everybody? Celtic Link here. We got another Dokkan Battle video for you here. Today, we are going to be taking a look at the GDC Part EX LR tag Gohan, Goten, and Trunks, and talking a little bit about who are their best partners in order to maximize their potential, as well as some of the best teams to run them on to make them run smoothly, effectively, and to the best of their ability. So, first, let's go ahead and let's start off by taking a look at what the unit is doing here. So let's take a look at their passive. So for the Gohan, he has attack and defense 200%, launches an additional super attack, and receives an additional key 3 per rainbow key sphere obtained. When receiving an attack, he has defense 250%, and for one turn, right, that very first turn, he has an additional 40% damage reduction, and he gives all allies attack defense 30%. When there's another hybrid Saiyans or bond of parent and child ally on the team, he gets key 7 and attack 250% when attacking. And then he gives all allies attack defense 30% and chance to perform critical hit 15%. Excluded. With one or more rainbow keys sphere obtained, he has defense 200%, damage reduction rate 38%, and launches an additional super attack, as well as getting an additional 200% attack when attacking. With 12 or more key spheres obtained, or 5 rainbow key spheres obtained, he has defense 250%, damage reduction rate 20%, and all allies 58% attacking defense for 2 turns. Now, once you proc the 258% defense, he will have that permanently for the rest of battle. In order to continue keeping up the 2-turn support, however, you will need to continue to grab the key spheres. However, I mean, by the way the unit is designed, by the time you do this, it's not really that big of a deal. You won't need it again anyways. And then finally, he can exchange on turn 3 as long as there are 2 or more hybrid Saiyans allies on the team. Once exchanged into the Goten and Trunks, they shift into being more dodge and offense oriented, where they get key 5 and defense 100% with a medium chance of performing a critical hit, great chance of launching an additional super attack, and receives an additional key 2 per type key sphere obtained. With 1 key sphere obtained, right, just a single key sphere, we get a 77% chance of evading. With 2 or more type key spheres obtained, we get an additional 100% attack when attacking, and defense 100% when receiving an attack. With 4 or more key spheres obtained, we launch an additional super attack, and we have guard. Per youth category ally on the team, we get a chance of evading enemies' attack 10% and attack 200%. Per hybrid Saiyans category ally on the team, we get defense 100% up to 500%. When receiving a super attack, we get chance of evading enemy's attack 15% temporarily, and all allies key 3 and attack and defense 30% within the turn. We also give youth allies chance of evading enemy's attack 5% for 2 turns. That is when receiving a super attack. So as you can see there, they are more dodge offense oriented, and they also have a much stronger active skill than the Gohan in most cases that I've seen so far. I initially thought Gohan's would be stronger, but theirs is a little bit more stronger. Gohan's allows for better crit though, so their active skill massively raises attack temporarily, causes ultimate damage, and gives youth categories attack and defense 20% for the rest of battle. Now the Goten and Trunks are building attack for 1 turn on their super attack effect, and raising superclass allies attack by 50% for 1 turn, with a great chance of raising that by a further 50% for the turn. Their 12 key, they are raising attack and defense for 4 turns, so you do want them to get those additional super attacks to build up sooner. For the Gohan side of things, right, opposite, right? He is building mostly crit and supporting crit on his super attack effect, and only raising an attack for 4 turns. So basically the way you want this to work is have at least 2 turns of stacking with the Gohan before exchanging into the Goten and Trunks. Obviously in shorter events that's not always conducive to what you're trying to do, but to get them to their max potential, that's what you want to try to do. And then of course Gohan, right, he has his active skill, the triple Kamehameha, whereas Goten and Trunks have the Gotenks fusion, right? The triple Kamehameha raises attacks temporarily, causes ultimate damage, and within the turn active, all attacks become critical hits, as well as changing int key spheres to int key spheres. And what this allows is for him to get that 258% defense and extra damage reduction. So all in all, like two very good sides of a really good unit. So how do we maximize their potential? Well, of course we have quite a couple websites here we can take a look at, but none other than the Dokkan FYI. I love this website because it's a great tool for not only team building, but taking a look at, you know, just units themselves and trying to figure out who they really go well with, right? So if we're looking at the Gohan here, right, and we're talking about his best partners, we want partners that are going to maximize his links, right? His major links being Super Saiyan, Kamehameha, Saiyan Warrior Race, All in the Family, Prepared for Battle, Fierce Battle, Legendary Power. He has some pretty standard you know, Saiyan links, and that's the nice thing. It's just the nature of being a Super Saiyan Gohan here, right? So if we actually look at some of the partners, right, we look at his 6 skill link partners, right? 6 links is some of the best you can get here, because it's going to, I mean, you're basically going to have everything active that you could want, right? If with a good 6 link partner, depending on which one, we're talking about, you know, 15% attack, 20% attack when performing a super attack. Saiyan Warrior Race giving another 10%. So already right there, that's 35% attack. All in the Family giving extra defense, which isn't really too big of a deal because, I mean, it's helpful for the Gohan side of things. And of course, another 5% from Prepared for Battle. Fierce Battle and Legendary Power given another 35%, right? So all in all, right, he's getting upwards of 80% attack off of his links alone. And that really helps him deal extra damage, right? So you can see here, he links with some of the best units in the game, right? The LR Blue Boys, Fizz Super Saiyan 2 Gohan, right? The Tech Vegito, Daima Goku, right? All of these are like pretty standard characters that you're just throwing out there, right? STR Goku and Gohan, right? I mean, they'd be often overlooked, but they're quite good and a great partner for this character. Although many of these do not share the same team, like their leader skill team. We'll go over teams in a minute, but you can see like these characters are all really good partners for the Gohan side of things, right? And then of course you have a ton of 5 link partners, again, all great units. The Vegeta and Trunks EZA, the Vegeta, the Gods, Super Saiyan 2 Gohan. All of these are great partners for them. And even, right, 4 links, same thing. So 4 links is probably where we're going to start getting into where you really want them, because that's where a lot of the major link partners are that are going to be on the big teams that you run them on, like Gotenks here or the Fizz Brats here. So, I mean, 4 to 6 links, general rule, is a pretty good deal for most units. It'll activate most of what you want here. But let's compare that to the Goten and Trunks. So like a lot of these characters, like these exchange characters, their links aren't too different between the two sides of the tags. Goku and Frieza being an exception. But here they are wildly different, right? You can see here that like Goten and Trunks here have things like Super Saiyan, Innocence, Prodigies, Budding Warrior, Saiyan Lineage, Fierce Battle, Legendary Power. So, right, they're potentially losing a lot more depending on who their partners are. But we can see here that, I mean, they still have some pretty decent partners, right? One of their best 5-link partners being the Fizz, Goten, and Trunks, who actually work really well on their team. But they're still getting decent 4-link partners, right? The Gotenks, Tech, the Vegeta side of Tech Goku and Vegeta, the Vegeta side of AGL Gogeta, and then of course, right, the new AGL, Super Easy A, Goten and Trunks, who are really, really good. So, like, I mean, they have some decent 4-link partners. For them, most of their partners are going to come out of the 3-link area, right? Vegeta, Pan, who is pretty big staple on their team. Kid Goku, all work really well on teams that you're likely to run them on. Even the other side of the character, right? Gohan himself links 3 links with them. So, I mean, obviously 4 links is preferred, but, you know, these guys, you're going to see, like, they actually don't need a lot of these links active to perform as well as they can. Obviously, if you can get them up, right, we're talking 15%, 15%, so that's 30% attack right there, 15%, 45% attack, 60% attack, another 65% attack, 85% attack, 100% attack, right, if you were able to max out their links. But it's really hard to do a 7-link partner for them. Like I said, these guys are probably their best partners, right? So you're getting out of them, right, 15, so 30, 60, you're still getting 80% attack out of them through links, which is really helpful because that's what you want from them, right? You want that attack buff. So, you know, this tool on the Dokkan FYI is very useful for team building. It's one of the first things I go to when I'm looking at how to build a team. I'm looking at, right, who shares the most links with the character. So, speaking of teams, we're gonna go ahead and roll back over here, and let's take a look at some of the teams we've developed for the Gohan, Goten, and Trunks. So, starting with teams on their own lead here for youth, Hybrid Saiyans, and Defenders of Justice. One of the first teams I like running is the team up here, utilizing the Fizz, Goten, and Trunks. These guys right here, combined with the AGL Kid Goku and INT Chi-Chi. Great youth units. And then, of course, the AGL Goten and Trunks and the Fizz Path to Power Goku. This team right here keeps the power up on the Goten and Trunks side of things by having a full youth team. I think it works a lot better than a full Hybrid Saiyans team, and you don't really lose anything on the Gohan side of things for running this battle. Now, of course, your defense is a little bit lower here for not running a full Hybrid Saiyans, but it's still not bad, right, when you consider you have near guaranteed evasion with a full youth team for the Goten and Trunks. So I do like running this team. Another variation of this team, instead of Path to Power Kid Goku, you could run the Fizz Pan. Fizz Pan just recently sub-easy A'd here during the Global Dokkan campaign, and she does support youth characters, right? So her or STR Pan work really, really well for that. So just a slight variation on the team here. Another variation of the team we have, right, still utilizing their lead, but this puts more emphasis on the Hybrid Saiyans, right, bringing things like Beast Gohan or this guy here to change orbs for the Gohan. This team works really well for things like Battle Hard and Formidable Foes, and even some of the special battle stages, right? Really, really good team that focuses on, this side really focuses more on allowing Gohan to function more so over the Goten and Trunks. Another team that we have set up here, instead of Beast Gohan, same thing, a more offensive setup utilizing Fizz Super Saiyan 2 Gohan. Now this team works pretty well in obviously Battle Hard and Formidable Foes, but actually a couple of the new Supreme Magnificent battle stages, right? The Gohan does allow you to blitz through the stages real quick, which allows you to kind of do what you need to do in the fight, right? The stages are designed for you to blitz them, and Fizz Gohan does allow you to do that. So that's it for teams on their lead. I've got a couple different setups on some various teams that aren't on their lead. So for example, we have the STR Blues team here. They are on Fused Fighters, so they do fit the category, but in order to make them work here, you have to kind of play around their conditions. So we have the Gotenks here, right, for a youth category, and the AGL Goten and Trunks here for another youth category. All of these guys on Fused Fighters, and the 300% you get from here is or I'm sorry, not 300%, the 600% is more than enough to have them work effectively within the team. Obviously, the more youth you have, the better, but this still allows them to run pretty effectively. Another team set we have here is more geared towards the medium to long events and some special battle stages, but utilizing the tech Goku and Vegeta, right, with the Vegito setup. Again, same thing. 3 youth characters is more than enough to get their full, not their full buff, but enough of a buff to make them function. And this team also allows, right? So basically, you would have one rotation of the Goten and Trunks, and and the Gohan, and the other rotation of your 4s, and then you would have your floating Tech Vegito and your AGL Goten and Trunks. So the team kind of works. Played around with it a little bit. In some medium to longer event, it works a lot better. So like Divine Wrath, Mortal Will, or like the Shadow Dragons Red Zone, or not Red Zone, but the Boss Rush. And then finally, the last thing we have is the double AGL Gogeta lead, similar to the Tech Vegito, but just removing Tech Vegito from the equation, but still a very similar team. Still works, right, because they have the fused fighters lead. I think this one works a little bit better, a more all-encompassing team, because, right, the double Vegeta does give you access to a double Veku, which allows you to cancel turns outright in their entirety beyond turn 4 in case you need it. So these are just some of the teams. This is not an exhaustive list. We could sit here all day and build team after team, but these are just some of the teams I've come up with that I think that work the best, right? The biggest struggle with this unit is, of course, their team, right? Their team just isn't quite where it should be just yet, but of course that does mean they're probably going to be building it up as the year goes on. Heck, we could get a couple more EZAs within this very celebration, and that could change entirely what units you bring on the team. So, I mean, just be aware that if you do have these guys and you are running them, be aware that they're their team is still a bit lacking. It is good in certain areas. There are certain ways to build, but in due time it will get built up even more and even better. So guys, that's it for the video. If you liked the video, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you have not already. And in the comments down below, let us know, what is your favorite team to run with the new Gohan, Goten, and Trunks? I kind of like that first team I showed you guys with the Kid Goku and Chi-Chi and the full youth setup. It's pretty fun, and it handles pretty much any and every stage you could toss these guys in. So I do really enjoy that team. But let us know what team you enjoy in the comments down below. Otherwise, guys, as always, thanks for watching, and aloha.